Hi everyone, I'm Miss Briana from the Hopewell Branch Library. Welcome to another episode of Biography Shorts for Kids. April is Autism Awareness Month, and in this video I am highlighting the lives of 3 individuals with autism. They are Grandin, Satoshi Tajiri, and Greta Thunberg. First, I'm going to give you a few facts about autism. I found this information in the book Life with Autism by Jean Marie Ford, which you can borrow from the library if you would like more information. Autism spectrum disorder, or autism, causes changes in the brain that affect behavior and communication. Autism has many different symptoms, and they vary from person to person. Some people with autism have such mild symptoms that they are never diagnosed. Others may need help with the most basic daily tasks and constant supervision to stay safe. People with autism often have trouble with social skills. They might prefer to repeat movements and routines, and many people with autism are also sensitive to sights, sounds, and smells. Doctors do not know what causes autism. Some researchers believe that there is more than one cause. There is no cure for autism, but speech and behavioral therapy can improve how people with autism interact with others. Now, let's learn a little bit about Grandin, who's been a longtime advocate for others with autism. Temple was born Mary Temple Grandin in 1947 in Boston, Massachusetts. She was the eldest of 4 children. Temple's mother could tell she was different from others. She behaved differently and had difficulty learning to talk. She wasn't diagnosed with autism as a child because so little was known about it at the time. Like many people with autism, Temple had very sensitive skin. She found clothes itchy and uncomfortable. She always had to wear very soft pants and shirts. As a child, she had difficulty at school. She was bright and loved science, horses, and other animals, but she was often teased and bullied for the way she talked. As a teenager, Temple had high levels of anxiety as a result of her autism. Noisy, crowded areas often made her feel tense. Like many people with autism, being hugged or touched by other people made Temple feel uncomfortable. But she found the feeling of pressure soothing. Temple invented a box that would mimic the feeling of being hugged. She called it the Hug Box. Hug boxes are now used throughout the United States to help calm autistic adults and children. After graduating from high school, Temple continued her education and eventually became a professor of animal science at Colorado State University. With her education and understanding of how animals feel, Temple began developing humane and efficient systems for handling cows at feedlots. She has made a lasting impact to the way livestock are treated. Her systems are now used all over the world. Throughout her life, Temple has been an advocate for others with autism. She has written several books helping others understand how people with autism think. Let's take a look at some of the books about this amazing woman. Who is Grandin? Written by Patricia Brennan DeMuth, illustrated by Robert Squire. Grandin wasn't officially diagnosed with autism until she was in her 40s, but she knew at an early age that she was different from her family and classmates. She couldn't show affection, she acted out when noises or other stimuli overwhelmed her, and she only felt comfortable when spending time with the animals on her aunt's ranch. But instead of seeing her differences as limitations, Temple used them to guide her education and career in animal science. She has become a leading advocate for the autistic as well as for the humane treatment of animals at meatpacking companies. This inspiring biography by Patricia Brennan DeMuth shines a light on Grandin's intellect, creativity, and unique spirit. The Girl Who Thought in Pictures, The Story of Dr. Grandin, written by Julia Finley Mosca, illustrated by Daniel Riley. If you've ever felt different, if you've ever been low, if you don't quite fit in, there's a name you should know. Meet Dr. Grandin, one of the world's quirkiest science heroes. When young Temple was diagnosed with autism, no one expected her to talk, let alone become one of the most powerful voices in modern science. Yet the determined visual thinker did just that. Her unique mind allowed her to connect with animals in a special way, helping her invent groundbreaking improvements for farms around the globe. In addition to the illustrated rhyming tale, you'll find a complete biography, fun facts, a colorful timeline of events, and even a note from Temple herself. How to Build a Hug, Grandin and Her Amazing Squeeze Machine, written by Amy Guglielmo and Jacqueline Torval, illustrated by Giselle Potter. As a young girl, Grandin loved folding paper kites, making obstacle courses, and building lean-tos. But she really didn't like hugs. Temple wanted to be held, but to her, hugs felt like being stuffed inside the scratchiest sock in the world, like a tidal wave of dentist drills, sandpaper, and awful cologne coming at her all at once. Would she ever get to enjoy the comfort of a hug? Then, one day, Temple had an idea. If she couldn't receive a hug, she would make one. She would build a hug machine. Temple Grandin, written by Ruby Cardona, illustrated by Isabel Lundy. Thanks to Temple, many farm animals live far happier lives. Temple Graded's research into animal behavior and inventions in farm technology have changed the way that livestock are treated across North America and all over the world. Before, animals were treated terribly and often suffered before they died. Temple has also been a hardworking campaigner for autism awareness, helping to promote an understanding of this disorder. This title is part of the Women in Science series, which takes a highly visual approach in telling the stories of important women scientists. Features include bite-sized text telling the story of a scientist's life, groundbreaking works, and legacy for young readers. The next person I would like to share with you is Satoshi Tajiri, the creator of Pokemon. Satoshi Tajiri was born on August 28, 1965. His family lived in the town of Machida, Japan. As a boy, Satoshi enjoyed exploring the forests and ponds near his home. He loved catching insects and would carefully study each insect he found. He found so many insects, his friends called him Dr. Bug. Satoshi also loved comics and television. He watched anime and read manga. As Satoshi grew older, he stopped hunting insects and began playing arcade games. As a teenager, he spent many hours at the local arcade playing video games. He wanted to read about the video games he loved, but there were no guides available. So when he was 17, he and his friends decided to write their own. The magazine was called Game Freak. Game Freak reviewed different arcade games and gave readers tips and suggestions. The magazine became a huge success. In 1989, he created his own game company named after his magazine. Satoshi came up with the idea for Pokemon in 1990. It took a long time to develop and was eventually released in 1996. It was first called Pocket Monsters, and the first version had 150 Pokemon. The character we know as Ash was called Satoshi in Japan after the creator. Pokemon has grown to be a global phenomenon. Satoshi was formally diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome as a child. Asperger's is a form of autism that does not interfere with learning or language. Instead, Asperger's can show up as an intense dedication to a single subject. Satoshi has been driven since he was a child and is determined to continue doing what he loves. He was able to learn about a topic and be passionate about it. Some say the reason Pokemon is so widely popular is because Satoshi was not trying to sell his game. He was inspired to create a game he wanted to play. He created something he found fun, and he wanted children to love playing. You can find out more about Satoshi with these books. Satoshi Tajiri, Pokemon Creator, written by Laurie Mortensen. This biography examines the life of electronic game designer Satoshi Tajiri, who created Pokemon, one of the most popular computer games ever produced. This talent is the founder of the video game developer Game Freak. With 48 pages, this book would be appropriate for children in grades 4 to 7. Pokemon Designer, written by Paige Polinsky. In this engaging biography, readers will learn about the designer of Pokemon, Satoshi Tajiri. Follows the story of Tajiri as he founds Game Freak magazine, which turned into Game Freak Video Game Development Company, and the creation of the Pokemon video games, trading cards, television series, and Pokemon Go. Sidebars, historic photos, and a glossary enhance readers' understanding of this topic. Additional features include a table of contents, an index, a timeline, and fun facts. This book can be downloaded from Hopewell. Pokemon, the Story Behind the Brand, written by Martha London. This title introduces readers to Pokemon, covering its history, franchises and products, and worldwide impact. The title features engaging infographics, informative sidebars, vivid photos, and a glossary. With 24 pages, this book is a perfect introduction to the world of Pokemon for our youngest readers. Pokemon Game On, written by Paige Polinsky. It's game on, Pokemon fans! This title explores the inception and evolution of Pokemon, highlighting the game's key creators, super players, and the cultural crazes inspired by the game. Special features include side-by-side comparisons of the game over time and a behind-the-screen look into the franchise. Other features include a table of contents, fun facts, a timeline, and an index. Full-color photos and action-packed screenshots will transport readers to the heart of the Pokemon Empire and have everyone excited to learn more. The next person I would like to highlight is Greta Thunberg, a teenage environmental activist. Greta Thunberg was born on January 3, 2003 in Stockholm, Sweden. When she was 8 years old, she learned about global warming when watching a film in school. Global warming means the world is getting hotter and hotter, and this is causing a lot of damage. After seeing this film, Greta could not stop thinking about global warming. She became more and more worried about the future of the planet. At the age of 11, she became depressed and lost a lot of weight. She stopped going to school and stopped speaking. Her parents took her to doctors who diagnosed her with Asperger's syndrome, a form of autism. To Greta, it made sense that she had Asperger's because she only saw things right and wrong. After time, doctors helped Greta feel better. She started to speak and eat again. She realized that if she spoke about her fears about global warming with her parents, she felt better. To help the environment, Greta convinced her parents to change some of their habits. For example, she asked her parents to give up meat, and she asked her mother to stop flying airplanes to work events. She continued to be focused on the climate. She didn't understand why the governments around the world were not doing more to stop the causes of global warming. In an effort to get the attention of government officials, Greta began a school strike for climate in August of 2018. She stood outside the Swedish parliament with a sign. On the first day, she was the only one who stood outside, but Greta was determined. Day by day, more and more students and adults stood with her. She continued her protest until September 7th, Election Day. Greta's strike inspired other students around the world. A movement began to grow. Greta was asked to speak about the environment at many international events. In speeches, Greta has called her Asperger's her superpower. It made her able to focus her energy on one thing, saving the planet. To find out even more about Greta, you can read these fabulous books. Who is Greta Thunberg? Written by Jill Leonard, illustrated by Manuel Gutierrez. The inspiring story of a young Swedish schoolgirl who sparked a worldwide revolution. When she was just 15 years old, Greta Thunberg knew she wanted to change the world. With a hand-painted sign that read, "School Strike for the Climate" in Swedish, Greta sat alone on the steps of the Swedish parliament to call for stronger action on climate change. Her one-person strike would soon spark a worldwide movement. This exciting story details the defining moments in Greta's childhood that led up to her now famous strike, and all the monumental ones that have fueled her revolution since, including being named Time's Most Influential Person of the Year in 2019. Greta and the Giants, inspired by Greta Thunberg's Stand to Save the World, written by Zoe Tucker, illustrated by Zoe Persisco. Greta is a little girl who lives in a beautiful forest threatened by giants. When the giants first came to the forest, they chopped down trees to make houses. Then they chopped down more trees and made even bigger homes. The houses grew into towns, and the towns grew into cities. Until now, there is hardly any forest left. Greta knows she has to help the animals who live in the forest, but how? Luckily, Greta has an idea. This inspiring picture book retells the story of Nobel Peace Prize nominee Greta Thunberg, the Swedish teenager who has led a global movement to raise awareness about the world's climate crisis. Using allegory to make this important topic accessible to young children, a section at the back explains that in reality, the fight against the giants isn't over, and explains how you can help Greta in her fight. Greta's Story, the schoolgirl who went on strike to save the planet. Written by Valentina Camerini, illustrated by Veronica Caratello, translated by Moreno Giovoni. The story of Greta Thunberg, the schoolgirl who inspired a worldwide climate change movement. It's August 20th, 2018, late summer in Stockholm, and it feels incredibly hot in the city. The TV news reports rising temperatures, and there have been numerous fires throughout Sweden. 15-year-old Greta Thunberg decides she can't wait any longer. Politicians have to do something to save the environment. Instead of returning to school, Greta takes a placard and goes on strike in front of Sweden's parliament building. This chapter book is her story, but also that of many other girls and boys around the world, willing to fight against the indifference of the powerful for a better future. Greta Thunberg, written by Rachel Rose. Meet the teenager whose school strike for climate change inspired a generation and led to the largest climate demonstration in human history. Greta Thunberg shows the power of young people, and she's just getting started. This book can be downloaded from Hopewell. I hope you enjoyed learning about these remarkable people. If you would like to borrow any of the books I shared with you today, you can visit our website at mcl.org to place a hold on the title. I hope you will join us for more Biography Shorts for Kids videos, which can be found on our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.